we're going to start using these tools. So previously we've created a droplet, set up Meterpreter, set up Empire, and that's currently where we are. Now, I didn't want to keep using that test infrastructure I only created to install the tools, so we're going to go back to the C2 infrastructure I had set up that I'd pretty much leave running to do these demos and test class assignments and things like that. So we're going to go back to an environment that we're all familiar with, use Kali. That way we can all be pretty much on the same page, not have to bring in all the dependencies that I might have installed on my Mac already. So if you fire up your Kali box, and your console will look probably a little bit different. If you're running Bash, I'm running a tool called omyzsh as my command prompt, but it's only a little bit different. And so that we can log into our host, we're just going to check the SSH config, and I don't have anything in here, so I need to add it. And this should be interesting because I'll need to get my file over there. All right, so, whoops. Host. BitShack C2 and host name is I'm not really sure where I'm going to put that just yet. On this host, I think I have a just going to so part of the VMware tools and the VMware VM is this bash script to mount a shared folder. So if we look in this shared folder, there should be all the files. I'm just going to make sure it's clean first. All right, I just went and cleaned it up a little bit. So if you look in there, it's a file that's on my Mac that is shared between the two. So I will go over to Dropbox, Vaults, and grab my SSH key. And just copy it into here. So now if we run this again, we should see that C2 file. So actually, all right, so you can see that is in that directory. So we're going to change this directory to this guy, and then it was BitShack -C2, I believe. All right, and the other thing we're going to add, just for simplicity's sake at this point, is the local forward 1080 to our remote host 1080. And although I said remote host, it's the port on the remote host. And since the listener we're creating is running on the loopback adapter, it's going to be on localhost on that port. So everything looks good there. We can save and exit that file, and now we can SSH to bitcheck.c2. This is the next problem that you may run into if you're running VMware. I know students have had problems with this in the past. I've mentioned the problem, but it continues to plague us. It's a very weird idiosyncrasy with VMware. If we just go back and edit our SSH file, we can add the fix to it right in our host file, which is setting this SSH option to throughput. And we can try again, and it magically works. Again, it's some strange VMware QoS issue. If you Google around, you can find it, but you just have to remember that if you get a broken pipe, to add that to your either your command line SSH options or your config file. All right, so what we're going to want to do is actually, this is a good opportunity to kind of remind you to use tmux, especially for running listeners or such. So, sorry. I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back.